Ladies and gents, PepperBelly here, bringing you guys what's supposed to be my favorite update for Interstellar Marines. Now, it is still technically my favorite update for Interstellar Marines, however, it has one shortcoming. Performance issues. Very apparent performance issues. As you can see, this is the brand new map, Dinocore, which looks quite awesome in its snowy gloriousness. However, that said, performance issues. I can't stress that enough because the update itself has been such an improvement, a vast improvement. I'm going to go through the changelog in a bit, but one of the major reasons why I was looking forward to update 16 over every other past iteration of updates is because they were fixing the hit registration, the latency issue, the bullet lag. And, well, I can honestly say it's fixed. It's a hell of a lot better than it's ever been before, and it actually feels pretty solid when you're targeting somebody and you shoot them. You no longer need to lead targets anymore. They register almost instantaneously, which is great. And when you're playing the X Mayhem Christmas special of the multiplayer they have, where it's like Juggernaut with like Arnold Schwarzenegger voicing stuff, it's kind of funny. I actually made an Interstellar Marine video last year on Christmas, or around Christmas, saying getting the holiday spirit or something like that. I don't remember. It was basically the exact same game type. And in that, you can really notice because you're actually shooting people and they have more health than usual. So it takes like a 30-round magazine to the chest on a target, on a regular Marine, to kill them, which is a little excessive. I don't know if that was actually meant to be that way, but it's kind of bad. It almost makes it look like the hit registration isn't registering, period, but when you look at the actual player, you can see your rounds hitting them. It's just they survive a lot longer. But then when you become the Juggernaut, you can slay things really easily, and that's when it really shows you, okay, the bullet lag issue, the hit registration is in fact very substantially, obviously, like just a huge improvement because it actually registers near instantaneous and it feels quite awesome. But it's negated by the fact that the performance is subpar. It's like, it's really bad, guys. It's like, I'm playing at 25 frames per second. Nobody should ever have to play at 25 frames per second. It's un-American. Alright? Like, we need our 60 FPS consistent, which is what I was getting before this update, unfortunately. And if you actually look right here, you can see, if you look at the screen right now, I asked the question, like, is anyone else getting frame rate drops? And almost unanimously, everybody responded. Well, not everybody, but the vast majority of people who are actually sociable in the game responded saying, in fact, yes, everyone's experiencing some pretty bad issues. The best way I can describe how it feels in terms of performance problems, it's like, picture having a low frame rate, so you're playing at like, 20, 25 frames, even 15 frames per second sometimes, with a combination of having VSync on. So like input lag, like the weird input where it's not quite as precise and responsive, and that's quite off-putting, especially in Interstellar Marines, because the one thing I absolutely loved about this game was how responsive all the controls felt, how like I was able to just get on target and kill things very quickly and effectively, but now, nah, that's not happening. Now it's like, okay, my inputs register awkwardly at times, and my movement freezes at times, where like I'll be moving in a specific direction, say I'm strafing with someone, and then I'll let go of the key, I'll keep strafing even though I let go of it, like there's a delay there, as if it's registering my input for a little bit longer. At first I thought it was a keyboard issue, but it's not happening with any other application or any other game, so I know it's an Interstellar Marines issue, which is unfortunate, because as I said, everything else is freaking phenomenal. So we're gonna go through the changelog now, because it's about time I actually cover this. And the new additions is, first of all, they added a brand new co-op mission, which is awesome. You can do it in single player as well, and it's called Starcrown, which I think is neat. I kind of did a run-through, but unfortunately the bots didn't spawn, so, that's another issue, where sometimes the bots just don't spawn, you have to restart the game, and yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate situation at times, because then you're kind of just like, oh, I'll just run through the entire map and learn everything without having to face anything, which is what I did, so, kind of cheap, but basically what you have to go do is you have to infiltrate this base, this facility, and grab intel and exfiltrate, and it's kind of awesome because it happens at night. The skybox is freaking amazing. I mean, looking up at the stars and seeing the moon and the mist and the clouds, and oh my god, it's excellent. It looks amazing. And you have to infiltrate it. There's multiple ways you can infiltrate. There's like I think they said there's 4 ways you can actually enter the facility. You have to actually recon the outside of it, find the best entry point, make your way inside, be stealthy, and try to unlock or gain access to various buildings by collecting various, what do you call them, like the swipe cards or whatever, you know, like those ID cards where you can actually gain access to certain buildings, and then you have to open certain doors to different facilities and certain buildings, like go to the security building to open up the main facility. It's cool. It's actually really neat how they did it, and progressing through it feels kind of awesome, even though I did it without bots. So I have yet to actually play it properly. I'd imagine it'd be a hell of a lot more challenging and a lot more fun instead of just running through the entire environment without any bots in the area. So they added that. They have new dynamic multiplayer map based on the Astrodome framework, and it's called Dynacore, which you saw at the beginning of the game for like 5 seconds. And unfortunately, I couldn't get enough gameplay in the short allotted time that I had to record with Dynacore because it kept freaking rotating out. And Shadowplay doesn't work for some strange reason all of a sudden, so I was having issues having to like use different recording software, and it's unfortunate. Anyway, so they added that. They actually revised the revive system. We have Revive 2.0 for multiplayer and co-op. What this means is that when your buddy goes down in multiplayer, you can revive him. If and when it works. Because sometimes it doesn't. And I'm pretty sure there was a gameplay snippet earlier of me trying to revive a guy and it didn't work. That's a perfect example. I mean, that was an issue beforehand too. But, I mean, when it works, it's kind of awesome. And the fact that they actually added it to multiplayer is nice. So if you're with your teammate and you're clearing a room, and you manage to kill all the hostiles inside, but your man goes down, you got 15 seconds to bring him back up, which is kind of awesome. They also added the first iteration of viewable stats through the profile tab, and they make a little sticky note saying that, well, they'll probably have to reset it a bunch of times throughout development anyway, so have fun looking at your, like, 200 kills and then just being reset and starting over. Because, you know, early access, games in development, stats changing, progress won't be saved, you know, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, just try not to take it too seriously. Don't be like, oh, look at my KDR. If there isn't, I haven't looked at it. I don't know if there is a KDR. There might be. If there is, please don't be the guy who's like, my KDR must be so high. So high. Because nobody cares. That's the reality. Nobody, in a tactical shooter, you know, sacrificing myself at times pays off. You know, KDR, not so important. But yeah, the stats are there if you want them. Just note that they can change. They probably will change and be reset, since that's what they said they're going to do throughout development. And of course, the biggest addition that they've changed, which is the thing I really, really wanted, and I've been begging for a very long time, as well as many other people, and that's the new hit detection system. Far superior than it ever has been before in the past, so, you know, that's a huge improvement, as I said earlier. So, anyway. Of course, they also added the ability for players to be admins with the ability to kick or ban players. I have no idea how this is going to work specifically within servers, since who becomes the admin, who gets the rights, that's the kind of stuff I don't really know yet. But it's there. Just know it's there. It can be done. They also added LOD to crates, basically level of detail, which I'm assuming is what's supposed to improve performance slightly by basically making the detail of the crates the further you are away, not being quite as demanding. In theory, I think that's what it's supposed to do. I think I could be wrong, but I you know, that's what I know what level of detail is in games. And unfortunately, given the performance is kind of poor, we know that, well, it didn't really make that much of a difference. They also made several AI game events, so I don't know what that means. Several AI game events. I'm thinking that the AI does something specific, like scripted. I don't know. I'm just kind of hypothesizing at the moment because I really don't know what that means. Several AI game events. Yeah, I don't know. Just know that's added to the changelog. I'd have to get more details on that at some point, but I mean, that's what that is. And they also added physics-based performance improvements, which, as we can see, didn't really improve anything. Since performance has been widely degraded for most players, which is unfortunate. I'm hoping, I hope to God, I've said this, like, well, I haven't told anybody this, I've been thinking it to myself. I hope to God they release a hotfix to remedy these FPS issues before they go on holidays, because if they're going to leave it in this state during the holidays when X Mayhem is going to be in full force, that's extremely unfortunate, because, as you can see, performance issues, it's not fun. I mean, how good I'm actually managing to pull through in this game as is, with this performance, it's kind of like, alright. I'd be significantly better if I was getting my steady, super smooth 60 frames per second that I was getting before this update. So I really hope they come out with a hotfix, look into it, because I noticed when we were playing with the devs earlier, and there's a bunch of devs in here, and Bozar popped in, and like all these other devs popped in, it was kind of awesome. I don't think they said anything though, but there was a lot of people mentioning issues. They're all like, oh man, bad frame rates, oh my god, fucked up FOV, or aspect ratio, or whatever, which I'm pretty sure you guys saw in the chat earlier what I was talking about. I'm pretty sure they know that the issues are there. They're well aware of it, that people are complaining, so they're probably like, oh crap, let's pop off the game and go check it out. At least I hope that's what they did, and they didn't just go like, pack up and run to the nearest strip club, because this needs to be fixed. You know, they need to fix this, so. So that's all the stuff that they added. Let's go ahead and take a look at the improvements they made. Updated. Revive now has a timer. So I guess you can, I don't know if you see the timer in the, like, the kill box or something. I don't really know what they mean. I mean, there was always a 15-second timer, but I guess now you can kind of see it and know when they're gonna die. I don't know. I haven't really noticed. They also added the X Mayhem game mode, and they changed it to accommodate all the changes from the last 12 months, which is friggin' awesome, which is what you're seeing me play right now in the gameplay. And crates and the props have been added across several existing maps, which is sweet. A little bit more props is everything we need to make things look a little bit more alive, a little bit more lived in, not so empty and barren and plain and mundane. And training points are now shared between players who are capturing a capture zone in deadlock. So I'm assuming that means if a fellow teammate happens to capture one of the zones, you will also get the points for it. I think. That's probably what it means. Or if two people are on the same capture point, then they'll both get the points. Something like that. It's either one of those, or it's both of those. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really making super educated guesses here. That's just my hypothesis based on what I understand and what I've read. So let's go ahead and take a look at the known issues that have come up from this update. So the HUD names and kill messages will be clipped on aspect ratios that are less wide than 16:10. So I'm guessing that means things will not be properly fitting on screen. I have a 16:9 aspect ratio. I have not noticed any problems. So I'm not sure if this is like a common issue or if it's very rare or if it was talking about 16:10 are the ones who are having issues, but considering it said other than less wide than that, there will be clipping issues. I personally have not encountered any. And, I mean, you can see the gameplay right here. It doesn't look like there's any issues with it, so, I mean, but it's a known issue. It can happen. The game will stop updating when switching out of full screen in Windows. It's a known bug within Unity 4, which is kind of why I wish Unity 5 would just fucking release already. Been in development for such a long-ass time, and they talked about releasing it, like, this year, and now it's looking like it's going to be coming out in January, or maybe even after that. God damn it, Unity, hurry the fuck up, because I want Unity 5 and Interstellar Marines for better performance and astounding visuals. Way better visuals. That'd be awesome. Get on it. The view jittering may occur when jumping on lofty networks. So, basically, freaky, jittery screen vibrations. In fact, it actually kind of happened to me when I was playing as a Juggernaut. My submachine gun was going all wacky. I'm not sure. You should be seeing it in this gameplay at some point, because I know I was recording it. Whenever I get to become the Juggernaut, or it might have already happened. I wasn't really paying attention to the gameplay, but you'll see it when it happens. It's kind of hard to miss the fact that my glowing arms are flailing violently in all directions. I don't think that's related though, but it could be. So the audio may cut out completely or partially on weapon and helmet sounds. Sounds like an unfortunate thing to happen when it does, because then you wouldn't know what the hell's going on. I haven't encountered this issue. It's just a known issue. It can happen. It's not, I'm guessing these known issues aren't widespread. It's just like, if it happens, it's known. They're aware of it. So don't be going on the forums being like, oh my god, the audio, and just you lose your mind because they already know. Other players will seem to float above or interpenetrate while standing on a moving, dynamic platform. And this is exaggerated whenever you have network smoothing on. So basically, clipping through things, that's what interpate means, or interpenetrate. It's kind of like when they're, basically think of clipping. That's what most people think of in gaming. Or they'll appear floating, or, you know, whatever. It's a known issue. I haven't seen it, but dynamic moving platforms, it probably can happen. I'd imagine, actually, I'm pretty certain I've seen it happen, where, say a moving platform, like on one of the maps where things move around, I can't remember the names of them specifically, how Dynacore did it, and I noticed it in Dynacore while I was clipping through the world and stuff, and everything was really weird, and I got killed shortly after, and, you know, punched a child in the face. I didn't actually do that, but, you know, I thought about it. Potential to fall through the elevator when moving, so that's an issue that's always been there, and I guess eventually it'll be fixed, because that would be awesome. And sometimes bots will not appear in a single-player maps. Restart the game and they will appear, so that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. It happens. And that was happening before this update too, so, you know, it's unfortunate. They'll get around to fixing it, guys. Remember, early access, this game has a long way to go, but it's looking pretty goddamn sweet, considering where it's at. And now it's time to talk about the fixes for the game that they've added. The first one is remove team kill penalty in co-op. Awesome, because that sounded like complete horseshit. I mean, if you're accidentally killing your teammate, and then suddenly your gun just is ineffective, because that's what happens in multiplayer. If you kill your teammate, you can no longer fire your weapon for 15 seconds. Well, you can fire it, it's just, you're firing nothing. Have fun. Try to survive. That's all you can really do, and it sucks. The other one is the #1 clan logo now shows, so whoever was the #1 clan, I've seen it, some guy had a fancy little star next to a name, and I was kind of envious. I was like, why don't I get no fancy star? Like, come on. I think I deserve one, right? Maybe not. Difficulty now shows in Get Killed by Bots. To me, this always showed up when I played Get Killed by Bots, so, I mean, that may have been a fix for some people that had the issue. For me, I never really had the issue. It was always there. Chat and kill messages now show when suit HUD is down. No, it doesn't. It's not for me all the time. Sometimes when I go down, my screen is just black and I can't see anything. However, sometimes it does work, and I've noticed it, and it's kind of awesome when it does work. It's like, oh hey, I can still read who killed me whenever I'm, like, you know, blacked out and dead, which is freaking phenomenal. Even though you're technically not really dead within the lore of Interstellar Marines, you're more or less just unconscious from the painful zap of a taser round. After suicide, spawn as a spectator in the next round. So, after suiciding. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why that is. After you kill yourself, you'll spawn as a spectator in the next round. Is that a punishment? Or is that the way it was intended? Not entirely sure. But just try not to kill yourself, guys, by pressing K. Despite what people will tell you. They'll be like, oh, press K to win the match. I hate people like that. It's infuriating. It's not funny. It's just stupid. It's funny when someone actually falls for it, but it's annoying when they try to push the fact and people are very, very aware of you're just bullshitting and yeah, whatever. They fixed the railings in each map to ensure they have colliders and do not double cast shadows. Very much needed, because double casting shadows is disorienting as hell, and getting stuck on railings by jumping over them or clipping into them or whatever is not fun, so I'm glad they remedied that to a degree. So they also fixed the reload sound continuing to play when you happen to cancel it by using the silencer. First of all, guys, it's a suppressor, not a silencer. There's no such thing. Man, guys, like, anyway, proper terms out of the way. Basically what would happen is if you were reloading the weapon and then you decided to equip a suppressor to your weapon, the reload animation would still be making noise even though you're now equipping a suppressor, and it shouldn't be making noise, if that makes any sense. I mean, you're canceling the reload, but it would still continue to make the reload sound even though your weapon actually wouldn't even be reloaded. So, yeah, now you know. They also fixed the dynamic platforms within elevation, that map specifically, with all the elevating platforms, so they should work. That's all it says. They should work. They should now work. And oh, here's the crazy glitch. This is what I was talking about. Oh my god. Switching weapons to the AR and it's fixed, and switching back, it's like, hallelujah, praise Jesus. And then it somehow remedied itself, which I was very happy because that was going to be very disorienting, especially how I was zooming in and it wasn't even working. Like, the sight, it would just zoom in my view without actually using the sight, because, you know, too bad my sight was too busy breaking the sound barrier in front of my face. Anyway. And then the last thing mentioned has been numerous additional and performance bug fixes. So, that could be anything, we don't really know. You know, minor bugs, bugs that don't really matter, bugs that are under the hood that we can't see visually or experience visually, who knows what they were. But additional bugs and problems. And that's the changelog, guys. That's everything that they changed and fixed in reconstrued and constructed and whatever, and now it's a lot better. Except, of course, the performance issues, which is what I said earlier, because unfortunately that is kind of terribad. It's unfortunate because, as I said, I really hope they release a hotfix, because everything is phenomenal. The hit registration, you can see I'm just slaying shit left and right, man. It's quite awesome. Just cutting fools down with instant hit registration. Feels friggin' phenomenal, but the strange input lag caused by performance issues, by low frame rate, just sucks. And the thing is, when you change your resolution or you change your graphical settings, so you're like, oh, I'll just lower the graphic fidelity to very low. Doesn't make a difference, guys. It actually does not. It's like, I gain, what, 1 frame? Because, I mean, I already maxed out this game, no problem, and I barely get any performance improvements. But, I mean, it's kind of shocking when you actually change it all the way to very low and you don't get any performance improvement at all. So that's kind of more of an underlying issue with the engine itself and the coding, I'm assuming. Again, making assumptions. Not really sure, because I know that it has nothing really to do with the fact that my processor or my graphics card can't handle the game. It's literally just a friggin' engine issue. Which brings me to my point of Unity 5 would be absolutely fucking lovely at this point in time. Who knows when it's coming out, but considering Kerbal Space Program said that as soon as Unity 5 happens, they're going to drop everything to update Kerbal Space Program to support Unity 5 and take advantage of it fully. Literally drop everything. I hope 0 Point Software has the same mentality. I really hope that whenever Unity 5 comes out, they're not going to be like, oh, we'll just integrate it slowly over time. I hope they literally go, balls to the fucking wall, let's just get this shit rolling, and then focus on everything afterwards. Ultimately, it's up to them. Again, I ain't no developer. I don't know how to, like, you know, I don't know the inner workings of what should come first in terms of actually making things work, because if they're already working on, you know, some kind of update, and it has to be implemented beforehand or something. I don't really know how it works. All I know is that Unity 5 would be awesome because, you know, better graphics, better engine fluidity, better use of multi-core CPUs, better use of your GPU. Man, Unity 5 is just a vast improvement. When you look at it, it can actually be brought to the point of being on par with CryEngine and Unreal Engine 4. Well, not quite, but close enough. It's not going to be as intense as those engines, but considering the price for it and its current framework and features, it's kind of awesome. And I mean, once Interstellar Marines takes advantage of it, because one thing I kind of wished, and I mentioned this in my live stream a long time ago, and I've talked about it in the past, when I was playing Alien Isolation with you guys, those of you guys who came by, and we were talking about Interstellar Marines at the same time, like, oh, what could Interstellar Marines learn from Alien Isolation? Holy shit, definitely the environment detail. I was just thinking, and this was around the time that Neurogen Incident was kind of out for a little bit, and it was a little bit popular. I was thinking, this game would be absolutely amazing with the visual fidelity that Alien Isolation showcased in its game. Because, holy crap, guys, it looked amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen it, the lighting, everything was freaking phenomenal. Imagine playing Interstellar Marines with that level of optimization and fluidity, with those levels of visuals and graphics. It'd be pretty great. And of course, also the Land Sharks taking advantage of the same kind of AI that the Alien had, the Xenomorph, because, fuck yeah, super unpredictable awesomeness and realistic behavior and learning. It's learning, you know, it's becoming smarter, it's using tools, that kind of thing. So that pretty much wraps up the video, guys. This was a long one, I know, but much needed things to be discussed. And of course, you guys should definitely check out the game, since now it is superior and better in every way, except for performance. I don't even know why I just said that. It's better in every aspect except for performance right now. So again, CPS, 0 Point Software, guys, please remedy this issue before you go on holidays, because that would be absolutely freaking awesome, so that we can really enjoy it to the full extent that we should be experiencing. My name's PepperBelly. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next one.